Yeah, welcome to today's class. We are still on structure. So what we want to do today is what? Returning a struct from a function. The last class we have dealt with passing a structure to a function. Now, in a practical sense, where do you use this kind of scenario? Let's say in an ERP software where you have the payroll department or HR department creating an employee, and you want this employee to replicate in the finance module, right? So it means there has to be an external function that we use to create the employee, and then this employee can be given to each of these departments. So that's what we want to do. We want to create a function that will return structure, right? So let's write a complete program to explain this concept. So the first thing we are going to do is uh, we'll say include, right? Always bringing our toolboxes, stdio.h, and then we'll need another one, include string.h for our string copy. So the next thing that we'll do is to create our structure. So we use our struct keyword, struct, and let's call it struct person, right? And then inside it, we have two parameters or two members for it. So the first one will be char. We'll name it, that is char name. Let's assign 20 bytes to it. Then the next one is what? Int age, right? And then we'll close our struct. Since it's a data type, so we'll put this here. Now, the next thing we are going to do is to create a function. The function that will create the person. In our previous classes, we usually create the function in the main. We usually create the person in the main, but in this class, we are going to have an external function that will create the person. So since that function is going to return, right? The last class, the function was not returning anything, so it was void. But in this class, the function is going to return the person created. So it will return struct person. So it will be struct person. So let's give our function name, create person. So our function name will be what? Create person, right? So this function will expect two parameters, which is what? Name and age. Now I'm going to use my constant keyword, then char. I will explain why I'm putting the constant. Then pointer name, right? Pointer name, and then int age. So it's a function. So I'll put this because now why am I using this constant keyword? Whatever this name pointer, this name is going to point to, I'm simply saying I just want it to be read only, meaning this function is not going to alter it. That's why I'm using this my constant. If I remove the constant, it will still work, but it will not be safe because somebody can decide to try to access or alter that string literal and to throw an error. So the best thing is put this constant in order for the compiler to be able to detect the bug on time. So what do we want this function to do? We want this function to create the person. So the next thing we do is we create a variable for this. So struct person p, right? So I've created a variable for the struct person. Now I'm going to access these parameters inside this function. So I will say string copy. Then I'm using this p.name to access the name. Then I'm going to call whatever is supplied here into it, name. Then p.h, whatever is given here, I will supply. So h, right? Then I am going to return p. right? That is what is returning. So my function, I will close it here. It's a function, so I don't need to put this. This is the terminator. Now, I will create my main function now, which is where everything will take place. So this function is external. So this is like thought, right? This is like thought. So int my main function, all program takes start from here. So inside this my main, what will I do? I will create another object or another variable for this struct. So struct person. I will call this p1, right? And then I'm going to call this function here. So I will say create person, and then inside it I will supply phone and then age 40. Then I will close it. So what I am simply doing here is I am also creating another variable of this structure here. But this variable will not be created inside this my main. Rather, I'm calling this create function, which is this function that is external. And I'm supplying these two parameters. So font will be given to this, and 40 will be given to age. Then it will come in and create the person variable, which is p, and assign these values to what? To the members. Then it will return what has been created. So when that is returned to this place, a copy will be given to what? To P1. Now, inside this my main, I can now print out P1 on the screen. So I will now say print F, right? I will say name, uh, percentage S, H, percentage D slash N. So this one will be what? P1, P1 dot name. We'll go for this, and P1 dot H. We'll go for this one. Then return 0, meaning it's returned to the operating system. There's no error. Then I'll close this. Okay, so this is my program. So I am creating a function. First, I create the structure template, which is the blueprint. This one is not in the memory yet. It's stored in the metadata. Now the function is created, and this function is to create a person, which is a variable for this structure. Now and then it will return that person to whoever is going to call it. So that's why it's returning struct person. I told you this constant is to tell you that this pointer, whatever it is going to point to, cannot be altered by this create person. That is the promise. That's why you're having constant. So you come to the main. Then inside this main, you are creating the struct person, which is P1, a variable inside this main. Now, that variable will receive a copy of whatever will be created by this create person. So I'm calling the function. So I'm calling the function here, right? Control will come to this place. Then font will be given to what? To this. Now, always we want to see how it moves in the memory. So font is here, right? It's a string literal. So this is my text segment. Then this is my what? Stack, right? So P1 is created here. P1 is created here. This function also, when it is called, is created here. So create function is created here. But this P is a local variable in this create person. The moment it returns, when you call it here and you supply font to this place, font is stored here, and then it will be copied to what? To this local variable, p.name, which is inside this function in the stack. Now, when it returns to this P1, meaning a copy. A copy will be given to P1. Then it will encounter this. This create person will disappear. You cannot access it again. But because a copy has been given to P1 that is also in the stack, you can now access name and access age. That is name and age to be printed out on the screen. So what you are accessing is not what was inside this function. A copy of it has been given to P1. So that is how a function can return a complete struct. So that's what I want to show you in this class. So let's go to code blocks. Let me demonstrate this for you to see. Then in the next class, I will show you how to also return a pointer, right? A pointer to a function created by what? A pointer to a variable created by a function. So this is what I have to show you. Let's go to code block and let me demonstrate this for you to see. So this is our code blocks on returning struct by value. So this is our function, which is what create person, and this is our structure. So this create person is going to return a structure, and in our main we have created another person, which is person one, that is going to receive a copy of whatever this create person create. So we call that function and we supply mfon to the name and 40 to the age, and then it will create and then return it back, return a copy to person one, and then we can now print. So you can see here I use person one, but in the class I use P1, and here I'll just change this to P1 and then just for you. All right, P1. So we are going to run this for you to see what the output will be. Execute. So you see the output is name mfon age 40. So that is how you return a copy of whatever this function creates into what? P1. So that's what I want to show you in this class. So till we see in the next class, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Bye-bye.